called. So cabin, a cabana, I think Portuguese, a small place, and fever when you get to febre. So you get sick, you want to go outside, you have cabin fever. And that's what some of us face these days in our challenge to stay safe and stay healthy. So I chose this theme based on what we're going through these days. And we have a grammarian, I think we don't have. I chose also a word of the day related to our theme, and it's called irritable. And I'm going to put this also in our chat. I'm going to copy and paste. Irritable. I want to hear you all say this word. Pronounce it. Irritable. Take your off your mutes and pronounce it. Irritable. Good. Irritable.
Right.
Anyone else want to give it a try? Irritable. It's an adjective, becoming angry or annoyed easily. Now, I want some of you to think, all of us to think about the situation we're in with our loved ones or someone else. We have cabin fever, and the person who is most close to us, we get we have irritable feelings to them because they're close to us all the time. Like, get away from me! I need my space. So this is an example of how we're going to try to use cabin fever in words that relate to it today. Now, what we do in our other clubs, who's going to be the grammarian and count how we use the usage today? Do we have anyone?
No, I don't think we have a grammarian today, Bill.
Okay.
We have the accounter.
Okay, so for our guest, normally we have a grammarian, and in English or Portuguese, depending on the meeting, the grammarian gives us a report at the end of the day of how we use the English language or Portuguese language, depending on the meeting theme, and also a word of the day, either in Portuguese or English. And for example, today, the word of the day is irritable. And whoever we try to use this word throughout our meeting. And the grammarian usually counts who uses the word during the meeting and how many times. But just to give you an idea of how this works. And a harkmaster, is that the joke master? What's a harkmaster?
Harkmaster is the person who will be have an active listening of the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, we'll ask some questions to see if people were paying attention to what was being said during the meeting.
I like it. We don't have this. I'm a member of 3 clubs here in Toastmasters Brazil, and none of my clubs have this role. Very interesting. Very good.
It's very nice.
And our topics master tonight is going to be Danielle Beck. So Danielle, first I skipped our counter. Excuse me. During this meeting, I'm going to have many people to help me run this meeting to help us achieve the objectives. And one of them is our counter. And tonight's counter is Luis Eduardo. Luis, could you please share with us what your responsibility is, what your role is, and what you will do?
Thank you, Bill. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for your recent recognition as a distinguished Toastmasters.
Thank you.
Congratulations, my friend. You're an example for all your organization. Thanks once again.
Thank you.
Well, I will explain now one of the most important roles in Toastmasters, which is the counter role. You know, when you say some kind of irritable words like, you know, right? So those words are the fillers. So these words are unnecessary sounds or repetitive words that fill gaps between your sentence. So my role here is to count how many times you say those words. When you start to travel in our Toastmaster journey, you will notice 2 things. First, You will reduce or eliminate completely the fillers words in your speech. And second, it will be very irritable for you because you start to notice every time someone says the filler words. All right? So I will count the filler words for both speakers and evaluators. And when Bill calls me, I will deliver a report with the numbers of filler words. All right? Thank you so much, friends. See you later.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Luis. And then later we'll also have a topics master. Our topics master today is Daniel Beck. So Daniel, if I can call you back, can you please explain your role today?
Sure. During the second section of this meeting, I'll be handling the table topics section, which is a series of impromptu speeches. So I'll have some topics for you guys, and it's related to the cabin fever theme that Bill shared. So be prepared to speak during that table topics section about cabin fever and its behaviors and issues it may cause in you. Back to you, Bill.
And I'm going to go back to you because following our agenda, you also are the general evaluator of today. Can you please explain your general evaluator role?
Sure, yes. So in addition to the table topics, at the end of the meeting, I'll be doing a report where I'll be evaluating the whole meeting, how it was handled, what was good, what we can improve for the next meeting. And also I'll provide a feedback to the evaluators of the prepared speeches. So in the third section of this meeting, we'll have an evaluation of the speeches, and I'll provide a feedback to the evaluators.
Wonderful. And thank you so much, Daniel. And just to let you know, each group, each club has their own meeting format. So I'm used to some different formats, so I'm following the agenda now. So sure, I encourage you all to follow the agenda, and we'll try to stay on time as well. Okay?
Thank you.
Following our agenda, we're going to go into our first speaker, who I'm looking at life as a continuing dance. So do you have the evaluators introduce the speaker or just the Toastmaster?
You can introduce Bill, please.
Okay. So, Alessandro, we have the Planejamento Innovador. I have you. Is that you? I have Margaret.
One second.
Toastmaster Innovador. If I'm looking at the agenda correctly, it has the first.
Yeah, sorry, Bill. I forgot to send you an English version of the agenda. I'm going to share in WhatsApp. In a minute.
It's okay. But Toastmaster, I'm looking at the individuals.
Yeah. So the first speaker is Alauzi.
Louise. Okay.
Alauzi. Yeah.
I know. Orador speaker. It will be evaluated by Margaret.
Margaret. Yeah.
Okay. Margaret. Okay.
Yes.
And her pathways plan is Planejamento, innovative planning.
Innovative planning. Yeah.
Innovative planning, and this is her first speech, her icebreaker. Yes. Which is 4 to 6 minutes, where she can speak about anything. And the title of her speech is "Life is a continuous dance." Life is a continuous dance. So please help me welcome Margaret.
It's me, it's Alauzi. I will put my presentation here.
Sorry, Margaret is the evaluator.
Yeah.
Just scoop on. Sorry. I'm getting used to your agenda.
Okay. Don't worry.
Thank you, Luis.
Okay, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Great. So, yeah, let's begin. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. My name is Alauzi, and the title of my presentation is Life is a Continuous Dancing. The first thing that I would like you to know about me is that I'm a good dancer. My first experience with dance was in my ballet classes when I was 3 years old. I practiced ballet for only 15 years, but my passion for dancing have been with me ever since. 4 years ago, I decided to learn samba de gafieira, and since then, I've been dancing and trying to learn other different styles of dance. So, besides, 5 months ago, I came back to my dance classes. In some, dancing makes part of who I am. In this way, my dancing practices allowed me to become not only a stage dancer, but a real dancer in life. And what does it mean? To explain that, I will use a phrase of Chico Xavier that says, when one door closes, another opens. When one path ends, another begins. Nothing is static in the universe. Everything moves without stopping, and everything always changes for the better. This phrase represents so much my life, my life path. So to exemplify that, I will start with my undergraduate background. Thus, I'm a biomedical with a master degree in genetic and molecular biology linked to cardiovascular disease in older people. In the middle of my master program, I become a federal employee in CAPES, which is a foundation related to our Minister of Education. Now, you can ask me what I knew in that moment about education, education policy, or other issues related to that. The answer is nothing. On the other hand, I knew that I was capable of learning anything that I decided to do with love, dedication, discipline, self-conscience, and knowledge. All these features are of a good dancer. Behaving like that, I improve a lot on my work, and I could get high positions there. In a certain moment, I could see that I would like to learn more. So I decided to apply for a PhD. Nowadays, I'm doing a PhD, and my PhD program is named Informatics in Education. And why I started a graduate program with this name? So this is a long story for another moment. My first class in this program was really crazy. In many moments, I thought I wouldn't learn anything related to that subject. Can you imagine me with a background in health science and trying to learn education, theorists, and applications in computer science in education? A really nightmare. But like a good dancer, I just danced the music. In the second year of my PhD, I remember an old dream that I had that was to have an educational experience at a foreign university. Once I told this to my advisor, and he was the first person to incentivize me to do that. At that moment, I began to apply to different universities around the world. To my happiness and craziness, I was accepted at Stanford University for 1 year. That 1 year at Stanford was amazing. And I could change my view of life. I could change my view of life, of people, but mainly of knowledge in different subjects. However, I still want to learn more. Now, with a few days left to defend my PhD thesis, My dancing in life took me to the Toastmasters door. Therefore, here I am, opening new and challenging doors. What do I expect? To continue my learn path, speaking for the government, improving my capacity of speak in public, travel for presenting international conference, but the most important thing, I hope to continue dancing wherever new doors took me, with dedication and knowledge. Thank you so much.
Wow, wonderful, Alois. Wonderful. Wow, what a great story. Amazing. You are a dedicated person. I loved your use of metaphors throughout your speech also. Stan, wonderful. And I'm originally from the interior of New York, but I lived for 17 years in California. And my sister lives in San Jose, California. And Stanford is a beautiful campus. Beautiful.
Yeah. It was the most amazing experience of my life. It was
Wonderful.
really fantastic.
Oh, I'm very happy for you. Keep going strong with your dreams. Keep going strong for your dreams and opening up new doors. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Moving on towards our second speaker is Dennis, correct? Dennis, who will be Denise Cadell, who will be evaluated by Kim Gibson, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and Dennis, his pathway is persuasive influence, and the title of his speech is cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis, and his time of the speech is from 5 to 7 minutes. So please help me welcome Dennis.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me well?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, first of all, and most important, it's always an honor to participate in the meetings of such a distinguished club. The opportunity of practicing speech makes me the least irritable person in the world. The subject I will talk tonight is cost-benefit analysis. I was in 2013 when in the middle of my law school graduation, when I began to realize that the world of legal norms was actually very little about legal interpretation. I had one first impression that those ivory tower discussions held in the Supreme Court was actually a kind of smokescreen over the real issues behind the decisions. For me, that first impression proved real with time, and not just a naive perception of someone that doesn't fully understand the dialogues going on in the play. Actually, it urged in me a substantive feeling that what really matters was almost never taken into consideration in the decision-making process. And by what really matters, I mean the goals and the consequences of judicial decisions. This feeling grew more and more when I took first contact with a thing called economic analysis of law, or law and economics, which is a movement initiated by Ronald Coase and popularized in legal academy by Richard Posner, a former judge of the United States Supreme Court, by the 70s. The main idea was to evaluate public policy from the point of view of its economic consequences. In my studies of law and economics, I discovered something called cost-benefit analysis. This concept was created by a French engineer named Jules Dupuy, in 1848. and was subsequently more developed by a famous English economist called Alfred Marshall. The cost-benefit analysis can be called a triumph of technocrats over other sources of power, as said by Professor of Harvard Cass Sunstein. As I have mentioned Cass Sunstein, I would like to make a little quote of one of his latest books. Please allow me to read it. It's a small piece. Cost-benefit analysis, say the author, asks, what are the bad and good effects of imaginable policies? Will we save 1 life, 10 lives, or maybe 1,000 lives? Will we impose costs on consumers? What will those costs be exactly? Will policies hurt workers and small business? If so, precisely how much? So, these are the questions cost-benefit analysis is intended to solve. This quotation is from the 2018 book Cost-Benefit Revolution, written by Cass Sunstein. I truly recommend to read it. In other words, cost-benefit analysis can be defined with a myriad of variations as a methodology that allows you to assess how much will you spend in the implementation of public policy or decisions, and how much it will generate in terms of results. Cost-benefit analysis earned a distinguished position in the public policy debate when President Ronald Reagan of the United States established it by the late 70s, as the required approach for what was called regulatory impact analysis, which was intended to evaluate regulatory rules by the point of view of cost-benefit analysis. Now, of course, there's a lot of challenges in applying cost-benefit analysis, because not every cost and not every benefit can be measured into a pure objective basis. That's why experts try to use cost-benefit analysis combined with other approaches, and mostly in comparative contexts. And that's why cost-benefit analysis require a continuous adaptation and improvement for each case of its application. Well, my objective in the speech, alongside with introducing cost-benefit analysis, is to conclude, and I'm going to conclusion right now, is to conclude with a little provocation. What if not only the executive branch used cost-benefit analysis to evaluate public policies, but also the judiciary branch used cost-benefit analysis in the process of decision-making? In thesis, we would have a much more rational and reality-grounded exercise of jurisdiction. And I am ending right now, especially at the Supreme Court level. I think that we would have a much more responsible application of law. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Dennis. And very interesting, detailed topic, law and economics with cost-benefit analysis. And I look forward to your evaluator giving us a detailed analysis of your speech. And also, cost-benefit analysis can be linked to our theme of today. If you think about it, cabin fever, COVID, what is the cost-benefit analysis of some states or cities or countries waiting too long to open up cities? More deaths or more people getting sick, something we need to think about. And the legal aspect and the things that you pointed out are actually also very point on and something we could think about in our day-to-day, or as a country can look at it. So thank you very much. 2 excellent speeches tonight. I look forward to hearing the evaluations of each of them. And Mr. Timer, do we have a timing report for our speakers tonight?
Okay, thank you, Bill. So Alauzi did her speech in 6 minutes and 10 seconds, and Dennis Gamel did in 6 minutes and 56 seconds. So everyone is available for voting for the best speech for tonight.
Okay, welcome back to the second half of our meeting, fellow Toastmasters. How are you all doing? I hope you're enjoying yourselves. And this part of the meeting is called our impromptu, or in Portuguese, improviso. Why is this important? Because in life or in business, sometimes you'll enter a discussion where you're asked a question and you have no idea how to answer it. And part of Toastmasters, in our prepared speeches, we are planned and trained to our introduction, body, and conclusion. We want to do this in improviso as well. And our timer is, before I go on to explain how to do that, our timer is going to tell us how long we have to introduce our subject, our body, and conclude our improviso or impromptu speech that we're going to have. But Mr. Timer, please explain the timing rules.
Okay, thank you, Bill, again. So for the table topic session, we have different times from the previous one. So when you start your speech, I'm going to start counting time. At the first minute, I'm going to share with you a green border in your screen. Okay, just pin my video, and you're going to see yourself with a gray margin behind, surrounding you. When you reach the medium time, that's 1 minute and a half, I'm going to share a yellow color. And at the end of the time, at 2 minutes, I'm going to share the red color. After the red, we are going to have 30 seconds to finish your speech and be able to be voted for the best impromptu speech of the night. Thank you, Bill.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alessandro. And as we mentioned, table topics is a time for us to think on our feet, because we are often asked a question in a meeting or in school. Some of you may be in school. Raise your hand. What do you think about this? What do you think about this subject? And you'll have to give your answer to the professor, for example, or to your boss sometimes. We never know. Or you have an opportunity to meet someone in the elevator. Give your elevator pitch, we call it. So this is a great time to practice. And we also like to have fun with it. So let's be light and have some fun with this as well. But Mr. Table Topics Master,
all right.
Daniel, let it roll.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
Sorry, I stole some of your thunder.
No, that's that's all right. Okay, so I will also have these table topics following the theme that Bill has chosen for this meeting, and it's the cabin fever. So just to recap what the cabin fever is. So let me read what I captured here. Cabin fever is a popular term for a relatively common reaction to being isolated in a building for a period of time. So my questions, I will have actually some topics numbered from 1 to 9, and whoever is the candidate for the meeting or the volunteer for these table topics, I will tell you what the subject is, and I would like you to explain to us how you deal with that, what you do to overcome this. It's actually a feeling or a situation. So I would like to tell us how does it impact you and what you do to overcome this issue. Okay. All right. So do we have volunteers? Let me see. If we don't have volunteers in 5 seconds, I'm going to have to point someone. So I'll give 1. All right, we have 1 volunteer, Alessandro.
Thank you.
So a number from 1 to 9.
7.
7. Difficulty waking. So in the morning, you have difficulty waking. What do you do? So is it an impact for you? Does it impact you during this time of isolation? And what do you do to overcome this obstacle?
So, it's morning,
Alessandro?
Morning what? Sorry?
Yeah, it's a the topic is difficulty waking. Okay, dificuldade de acordar.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Does it impact you? Is it a problem for you? Do you have this problem? And what do you do to overcome this issue? All right.
Okay, so thank
Alessandro?
you. Thank you. So it's kind of irritable to don't have the ability to wake up at the time that we want. For many years, I have been in the team of people that think that we just can't without our alarm clock set at some time. And after that, we just hit the buzz button, the sleep more button. And after that, we just keep getting more tired and never wake up at the right time. So it's not the best option to be able or not to be able to wake up in that time. So it's really not good. After the quarantine, I'm not so much in the cabin fever, but I have missed my pace in the time that I wake up. I'm really trying to improve after some days ago, but I'm not so good as I was before this. I don't know why that happened. Actually I know. It's because of me. There is no way to run from that. It's my fault that I don't wake up at the right time. And just to paraphrase one person that I really like to read and learn from, it's Brian Tracy. One day I was watching a video from him, and he told that if you want to wake up at a certain time, you just need to be really certain about that just before you go to bed. And the first time that I tried that, it really worked. I just thought really wanting to do that next day I was going to wake up at 5:30 without a alarm clock. And that really worked. I think that I'm going to go back for that again. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Alessandro. Nice speech. Do we have another volunteer?
I can try.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks, Margaret. So a number from 1 to 9, except 7.
I'm trying to use my camera. Okay, I found it. 1 to
9. 1 to 9,
okay.
except 7. Yeah.
Okay. 3.
Number 3.
Yes.
The topic is lack of patience. So during this time of being isolated, it's something that can happen, right? We can lack of patience. So does it impact you? Do you have lack of patience, and what do you do to overcome that? So, Margaret?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I believe I am a kind of irritable person because I have lack of patience by nature. So I have a very fast pace, and usually I lose my patience easily. In that time, it's funny because it's the opposite. As I am very, I have this fever cabinet, and I am in my house, in my home with my beloved ones, my husband and my daughter that just came from Canada to stay with us in this terrible time. So I can improve my patience. It is the opposite because I have to stay at home, and I am very dynamic person. I like to see people. I like to meet people, and I have to stay home. So I am improving my patience at home. That's funny. And what I do for that, I'm trying to keep busy, to keep myself busy, to learn something new, to work, because I am a kind of workaholic by nature as well. So I'm working a lot, reading a lot, watching Netflix as everybody. And these keep me busy and improve my patience. But, however, I'm missing my grandson a lot. I can't see him. Even he lives nearby my house, and I can't see him, and I can't see my other daughter. So I'm struggling with a lot of loneliness. Even though I'm here with my family, I can't see other part of my family. I can't see my mother. And sometimes it's very, very challenging. That's it. I'm trying to keep myself together to follow this pandemic and have my life back. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for sharing, Margaret. Great. So, timer, do you have time for one more? How is it?
Yes, I think we have one or more, two. Or two
One.
more, sorry.
All right. So, do we have one more volunteer for this session? Luis?
I can.
You can?
I can.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So he was selected. So Luis, a number from 1 to 9, except 3 and 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, or 9. Which one?
4.
4. So this one is funny. The feeling is food cravings. So you eat a lot during this time of quarantine. So is it really an issue for you? Do you eat a lot? And what do you do to overcome this issue for you? So Luis?
Yeah, sure. This is true. I eat a lot. I love to eat. Since I was a child, I used to eat a lot. Nevertheless, I was always skinny boy because for one hand, I used to eat a lot, but in the other hand, I used to make a lot of exercise. So I spent all my life doing a lot of exercises because if I don't do these exercises, I get really, really bored. If I don't run or burn my calories, it becomes very irritable for me during my life. So for me, living in this pandemic, it's really a challenge because I have a lot of food here in my home. So I'm eating a lot, but I am now restricted to my exercise. So I have to adapt my home to do my exercise in here. Sometimes I get out of my home and do a little run, but it's not enough for me. So I have to practice in-house. So I have a jumping rope. So I start to jump in home. So my neighbor below me, he's start to complaining because I'm jumping above his head. So, and I have a lot of weight here to practice some weighting exercise. It's becoming a challenge, but for us humans, life is adaptation, my friend. So I adapt and I can now eat a lot and do my exercise and I can live well until this crisis is over. Thank you so much for your questions.
All right. Thanks a lot, Luis. That was great. So we have time for the last one. Who is the last volunteer?
You can call Aletheia.
Aletheia? Do you want to participate, Aletheia? It's a volunteer. You don't have, no pressure. No pressure. All right. Do you have any other members? Kim? What about Kim?
Hi, hello.
Hey, Kim. Do you want to, I'm actually volunteering you to participate in this table topics.
Yes, I have noticed it.
So I'll let you choose numbers 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, or 9. Which one?
Okay, so I guess I have accepted the challenge. So I'm gonna go for
You have
Number
1,
9.
2,
9.
9. Changes in weight. Changes in weight. Is it a problem for you during this cabin fever or this time of quarantine? If it is a problem, what do you do to overcome? So Kim?
Gaining weight was never a problem for me in the past. But since I have turned 30 years old, all of a sudden, this is a problem. And I have never ordered so much food using the apps. Nowadays, all I can do in my cell phone is Google restaurants nearby, or I go to Uber Eats, or I go to iFood. Actually, I think I'm having a financial crisis more than a weight crisis or something like this. But yes, I have noticed that I have gained some pounds, some extra pounds that I wouldn't like to have. And what I'm doing to solve this, every time I wake up in the morning, I remember that I'm not moving so much, I'm not going places. So I jog. If I can't jog in the morning because I can't wake, I jog in the afternoon. When it's raining, what I try to do is I have a exercise mattress at home, and I try to do some push-ups or something, but not always we have the time or we have the willing to do this. Yes, but yes, I think weight's gonna be a problem for all of us when this quarantine is over, and I hope the gyms will come back soon so we can solve this. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Kim. Do we have time for one more, Alessandro, or are we done?
No, we are done, Daniel. It's okay.
Oh,
now.
right. So let me pass back then the word to our Toastmasters, Bill.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Excellent questions, and I can definitely relate to someone jumping rope or jogging in their a condo or apartment above. I hear the person jumping 2 floors above, jumping rope as well. So I can relate to all this. So Mr. Timer, can you give us a report on our table topic participants? Did they all meet our timing goals?
Okay, Bill. So I'm going to share with you now my report. And my speech was 1 minute and 52 seconds. Margarete Carneiro, 2 minutes 24 seconds. Luiz Eduardo, 1 minute 44 seconds. And King Gibson, 1 minute 33 seconds. Everyone is able to be voted as best table topics of the day.
Moving forward, we are going into the third portion of our meeting, I guess. And this is the evaluation and feedback portion. We'll get the evaluations of our prepared speakers for tonight, and also an overall evaluation of a report of our meetings and our meeting roles for tonight. So our first evaluator of the evening, who will be evaluating, forgive me for the pronunciation, Alois, Marguerite, will be evaluating Alois. So please help me welcome Marguerite.
So, good evening. The goal of feedback is to help others to improve skills. It's an essential part of this club, Toastmasters. So I am glad to serve this club and our speaker as evaluator. It's important to say that I'm not an authority of speaking. On contrary, I'm also a learner and a new member of this group that is willing to evolve as a speaker. Second, it's important to say that the feedback is my perception. It can be different from others' perspective. I don't want to be irritable to you. Just add some value on your speak path allows. Third, it's important also to remark that I will do my best to be honest and constructive in order to help the speaker allows to have some insights and challenge to work on. Allows, first of all, congratulations for your first speech. It is a milestone. It requires a lot of courage, and I'm glad you did it. Welcome to the club. Allows has had today the ice break in the innovator and planning path with this name, Life is Like Dancing. I can't remember now, but it's the icebreaker speech is the first one, and the purpose is to get yourself known by everybody. I'd like to thank you for introducing yourself in such a nice way. It was very enjoyable to hear your passion for dance. I can say that I love dance as well, even though I'm not a professional as you, but I love to dance as well. You also transmitted your impressive resume in a nice way, very humble. And you also use some humor. It was very nice to hear you. And it was not pretension. It was the contrary. You sell yourself in a nice way. And we could see how good are your skills. So very good. I could hear you very well. You have clear voices and very good diction. You use also, you were very comfortable. I like that. I would challenge you to try to use different tone of voice. That's really a challenge. And also I'd like to see you and your gestures and eye contact and pose and the way you deal with audience. So next time I challenge you to show up more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Margaret, for this feedback. I really love it. And yeah, it's a challenge for me, and I'm really happy of making part of this group. So thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you for the evaluation, wonderful evaluation. And we're all looking and growing. As part of Toastmasters, we are lifelong learners. And everyone in here is looking to learn and develop him or herself in the best way possible. And that's one thing I like about being a member of Toastmasters for over 2 decades. Every time I'm participating, well, part of this time I was not a member because there wasn't a club in Toastmasters. Every time that I'm participating in an event, I'm trying to develop myself, my own skills better. So I can give you all the encouragement to keep on your path, your direction, your journey, to grow and develop yourselves like you all are doing. Our next evaluator, evaluating Dennis, is Kim Gibson. And Kim, I think he's been involved in Toastmasters for a while. And Roy Ganga has told me that he's the immediate district governor of District 44. And we can talk about that a bit later. So please help me welcome Kim Gibson.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
So guys, good evening. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dennis for it was a very complex team, yes. He has a philosophical approach to a very important question. So I believe he tried to bring a very important topic and a very difficult topic to talk about with. And he did it very well, yeah, so congratulations. You started your speech in a very polite tone, yes, in a very complimentary tone. It was very nice. The background was very neat with the shelves of books behind you. It was a very nice background. And I believe your speech would cause more impact with a more clear introduction, yes? When you were beginning to talk about this, it was not so clear in the beginning, but Later on, you developed it, and it was very clear. It was very interesting, actually. Particularly, I enjoyed very much your speech. It was a very remarkable and interesting topic to learn about. I have learned a lot. So, and when you were talking, perhaps you didn't notice it, but your gestures, they were a bit down here, so we could not see your hands very well. Maybe if you could try to lower the camera or to show up your hands, maybe we can see more of your gestures, because you tend to do this a lot in your speech, and that's very nice because it communicates as well in different ways, right? The gap fillers, you said very few gap fillers. I noticed it's 2 gap fillers, and which is very good for your first speech after the icebreaker. So congratulations on this part. The intonation, maybe you have a very nice diction, very clear diction, but maybe you could change a little bit your tones of voice sometimes to stress something with more emphasis. Yes. And I would like to give you some suggestions related to grammar. When we start or we end the speech, we don't say most important. We say most importantly. And it's a very good usage of English. If you change this, it's going to be perfect in your speech. Also, maybe you could work on your pronunciation of the verb grew. It's not grew, it's grew. And policy. Government policy, not police. Or okay, policy. And I noticed that you said in thesis, right? Thesis in English is something you do in the master's degree or a doctorate degree. In English, we say in theory, not in thesis. That were the mistakes I noticed regarding the English grammar. But apart from that, you did great. It was really nice, really good English that I heard. Good aspects. You wrote a quote during your speech. It was very nice because it enriches your speech with a quotation, yes? Maybe you could memorize the quotes instead of reading it so you don't lose eye contact with the public. And you use the word alongside in your speech, which is a very sophisticated word, which was very nice, good English usage as well. And I suggest for you, instead of saying it can be, you can use it might be. It's more polite, it suits you as you have this sophisticated style. So that's my recommendation for you. Thank you and congratulations.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Kim, for your great evaluation. We had 2 great evaluations tonight as well, and 2 great speeches, 2 great evaluations, and 4 great table topics. So for our evaluations, Mr. Timer, has everyone qualified for the voting of best evaluator?
Bill, Margaret was 3 minutes 2 seconds. King Gibson was 4 minutes and 16 seconds. So King can't be voted. And as usual, we have the feedback for King, but we always give this feedback after the voting for the best evaluators speech. So we have a Margaret as a winner today.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Great job, everyone. Moving forward, we have the feedback for our grammarian, which we don't have tonight if we had one, and how we use the language for our guests. Also, we have the feedback on how we use our filler words. So, Mr. Counter, Luis, can you give us your report for tonight?
Thank you, Bill. For the first speaker, Alauzi, first I would like to congratulate you for challenging yourself, Alauzi. Between 4 to 6 minutes and a half, you use 8 uns, so 8 uns, and 1 disconnected so. For me, Alaus is great because when I did my first table topics in 2 minutes, I said 15 filler words. So in 2 minutes, I said 15. You, for your first icebreaker, you said 8 ands and 1 so. Great, congratulations. Dennis, you start your speech with the word so. So you start your speech with the filler word. So we should look, you should look to avoid that. So you speak 2 ands and 2 so. So I noticed that this word so is a trend. People were starting the speech with the word so. Well, let's go now to the table topics. Alessandro said, once again, so, starting his speech. Margaret said, 2 an. I didn't count my fillers. I hope someone did it. Did someone count it? 1, 2, 3. No? Okay. And lastly, Ken said 3 ands. Now for the evaluators, Margaret started her speech with so, and she said also 2 ands. Ken has also started his speech with so. He says 4 ands and 2 yes, like a confirmation. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Back to Bill.
Thank you, Luis. Excellent counter report. Filler words, vicios, as we say in Portuguese. Excellent. And it's interesting you mentioned for your first speech and how you had 15 ums. I can remember my first speech, and this is before maybe some of you were even born or in diapers back in the 90s. My first speech, I had 24 ums. 24 ums, my icebreaker speech. So we're always trying to improve our goals, even today. I'm still trying to improve. Okay, thank you. So Alessandro, can you please provide us with the evaluation of Kim?
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Bill. So congratulations, Kim, for your first evaluation as a Toastmasters member. It's one of the most important paths that you need to get now to go further in your path here with us in Toastmasters. So to introduce you, I would like to really congratulate you because you really show that you were listening for Danny's speech. It's really important to really care about each other's here in Toastmasters, because when you share that you like or that you really care about something, you get more confidence. We got more trust about your feedback. Okay, so after that, really shared joy in your feedback. I really liked that, because sometimes the first time you get a little nervous, and sometimes you can even get irritable. Okay, so congratulations on that. And you took notes. That's great too. Okay, even if you have that PDF form for evaluation, it's really important to take notes sometimes faster, because we don't have time to fill the right PDF form before we can lend that to our speaker. And you give him ideas on how to improve body language. That's nice, because online meetings is really a challenge, and then really get room for that. It's just a case of raising hands like I'm doing here right now. So great to see that you took notes on that. And you took notes on his filler words. It's really nice, because you anticipated the portion of the accountant role today. And doing that, you can help improve Danny's speech, and you can improve your hearing too. So congratulations on that. And you give feedbacks for him on his intonation. That's great, because it's really challenge to make different voice tones or voice volume during our speeches. And as an English teacher, and you even could give him grammatical ideas on how to improve his language. It's not easy for everyone to do that, so you double as a accountant and grammarian today. That's really nice on you. This is going to make you one of our best evaluators for the English meeting, okay? So congratulations on that again. And one thing that I think you can improve, just because it's your first time, is that you was over your time, okay? So it's not a big issue here because your feedback was great. But if you think that you need to give more feedback, as I need to give more feedback for you now, but I can see that my time is going over now, you just take notes and you can share with him on private message on WhatsApp. Okay, so congratulations. I really hope to see you in the next path, in your next evaluation again. Congratulations again. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Alessandro. Thank you very much. And congratulations to everyone tonight. Now,
All right.
now we're going to move. We're going to move forward into the general evaluation portion of our meeting. So, Daniel, can you please explain this role for our guests and continue with our meeting?
Sure. All right. Well, as a summary of my role today, I'll do a quick overview or recap of what happened today, pointing out what was good, what we can improve, and also I'll provide a quick feedback to the evaluators on things that I think that they can improve as evaluators. All right. So let me start with Margaret. So Margaret, you started your introduction of the evaluation, speaking about yourself a little bit, about the opportunity you have to learn. That is I mean, it's something good, but you could save some time on that introduction. Since you are evaluating someone, you could go straight to the feedback that you have. If you want to share, you can also share this feedback maybe during the introduction of I mean, when we have our networking break or something like that, you can share that because it's a good message that you shared in the beginning. But specifically for the evaluation, you could save some time if you went straight to your feedback. But it was awesome that you started with a positive message. You started greeting Alauzi by her speech, explaining the purpose of the project, right? Explaining what is the icebreaker. And you started with a positive message. You highlighted the clear voice, the vocal variety. You also challenged her for her next speech, and also challenged the use of body language. So that was something good. I will also quick talk about Kim, because Alessandro did his evaluation, which was really good. I also captured, Alessandro, majority of the things that you also captured. Kim did highlight so many things in his feedback that he could also, as I said, as you mentioned, condense a little bit and provide a feedback later, maybe on the written report to Dennis. So that was something really good. I will actually share my feedback with you both, Margaret and Kim, after my evaluation. Now, back to the general evaluation of the meeting, recap. Our meeting started at 9:47, and we normally don't have themes for our meetings, but I really thought that this was fantastic to have a meeting for that. It's really challenging. It brings like it gives a direction for us, so we can all base our discussions and then what we're going to talk or speak based on that. So it was really great that Bill brought the theme to our meeting. So for me, it was a challenge because I had like 5 or 10 minutes before the meeting. I had to plan and organize my table topics for that. It's also a challenge, but it's good because I could bring questions that were related to the team. Also, speaking about the meeting itself, I really like that we condensed the meeting and we removed the slides in the beginning. Since we have Bill as Toastmasters, we took off the slides and we saved a lot of time, around 10 to 15 minutes, I would say, from the beginning of the meeting, which is great because we went straight to what is important. And I don't think that it compromised anything or any quality of the meeting at all. So it was really great. Now I would like to talk about things that we can improve. And I would like also to do a quick, it's not part of my role, but I'll do a quick video and chat monitor feedback to everyone. So things we can improve. I saw that some of you during the meeting, you stand up and you went to do something else during the meeting, right? So my suggestion or feedback for you, I mean, there was more than one person doing that. So turn off your camera. If you really need to stand up and do something else during the meeting, just turn off your camera. So you don't, I mean, because we don't know where your image will be in the meeting or in the screen here, and it may distract people if someone is presenting and then suddenly someone goes off the camera. So it's a little distraction. So if you need to go out, just turn off your camera and go do what you have to do. Now, quick video and chat monitor. For those that don't know, I will really explain. This is a role in the meeting that shares feedback about the new reality that we have, right? So it's someone that will give feedback on the technology part. How is your camera doing? How we are doing with audio and with light and the room and environment and so on. So real quick feedback. This will be more general. So for everyone, try to use the camera, if possible, on your eye levels like this, or a little bit up. If you can put a little bit up your eyes, because you can take advantage of the angle of the camera. If it's pointing down, you have more room that you can use your body gestures. See? So if I point a little bit down, I can gain more room for my body gestures. So if your camera is pointing up, you lose that, right? So it will probably cut you around here, and you lose this opportunity to use your body language. So the first feedback for you all is the position of your camera. Second thing is light. So Alessandro did share a fantastic feedback. It was almost a class for us in the last Toastmasters Everywhere meeting. And I think this feedback is useful for everyone. So try to have a light or a lamp, right, close to you. I will just quick show you mine here. I have something like this, which is next to my computer, right? It's just a quick lamp like this. It's an LED light that I have here, and it's pointing towards my wall right in front of me. So what will happen is the light will hit the wall, right, and it will come back to me, but it's in a southern ray. So you can see the difference if I turn off the light, how it looks like. So I have a huge light or white background behind me, and I have a dark. I don't have any lights right now. So Alessandro mentioned that this will cause a contrast in the camera, in the software of the camera, that will make my face looks even more darker. So what you can do, if you don't have the light like this one that I have right next to me, maybe try to reduce or maybe turn off the light if you can, if it's possible, because this will make the light that you have here improve the quality of your image, of your face, all right? So that's my feedback overall for video and chat monitor. I would like to thank everyone, and I will turn the word back to Bill. Bill?
As I was saying,
Okay.
this is my first time using Google Hangouts. I said that. And also, I'm not familiar how to see everyone on the screen at the same time. I missed seeing Daniel's presentation on how to use the lighting correctly, and I saw a little bit of it at the last Toastmasters Everywhere meeting, but this is very important. I have my light here, but I didn't hook it up to use it correctly. But I want to thank you all. You all have a very good level, very high level meeting flow, and people who speak English very well, and I'm sure, of course, Portuguese. I thank you for the invitation to be your Toastmaster this evening. It was a pleasure, especially since I was here from the very beginning of the history of this club. I want to thank you all and say congratulations. Keep going strong, and I hope to participate in the future. I'll turn the meeting back over to Alessandro now to close the meeting. Okay? Thank you all.
Bill, thank you so much. I know that we managed to make this happen in the last few hours, so I couldn't share with you how we use Hangouts. So thank you so much for accepting this challenge. And the feedback from Daniel was great, and we recorded that and shared it on YouTube. So I'm going to share with you the link so you can see Daniel's feedback, and we hope you like that people in our club and other clubs can get help from that too, because not everyone can join us online, maybe because of technical issues, or maybe because they are shy to use cameras. So we try to record every hour's meeting. And moving on with our meeting, guys and girls, I would like to share my screen with you, because we are going to have now the winners tonight. The winners, the best speaker, the best evaluator, and the best table topics speaker. So I'm going to look for my screen and share with you. Let me see if you are going to see it. Okay. Everyone see my screen? Great, great, great. Now. So for the first part of this meeting, I would like to roll the drums for our best table talks for this evening. Please roll drums. So we have our best table talk speaker, Margarete Carneiro. Congratulations, Margarete. Your speech was great.
Thank you.
I believe that we really felt what you are telling, and this reflecting in your winning tonight. And for our best, you're welcome. For our best evaluator for this night, roll the drums. And we have again Margarete Carneiro, our best evaluator for the night. Congratulations, Margarete.
The only one, but it's okay.
Yeah. Congratulations. And after that, we are going to have our best speaker for the night. Please roll the drums again. And we have Alaúzi Pires in her first speech. Congratulations, Alaúzi, for your speaker.
Thank you. I love it.
Your first ribbon as best speaker. Congratulations.
Parabéns para as mulheres.
Congratulations. Yeah, sure. So I would like to just give our final announcements. And that's next Saturday we have our webinar. Is going to happen at 3:00 p.m. on the time. Okay, so we are going to meet, I think, 30 minutes before to make all technical issues working, to have time to welcome our guests, and our webinar is going to start 3 p.m. Okay, so I invite all of you, and we are going to share with you our link so you can subscribe for our webinar. It's going to be a live YouTube stream. It's going to be free because we are doing that online. And our next meeting is going to be May 2nd at Saturday afternoon. It's going to happen 3:00 again. That's the time that we usually do our meetings. And I would like to thank you, everyone, to be here with us tonight. These meetings on Thursdays is new for our club. I would like again to thank Bill. Bill shared with me in WhatsApp that he was the mentor of our club 3 years ago with Max and Pedro Ivo, I think, in São Paulo when he was there. So Bill was the guy behind the birth of our club. As I am doing today with the Recife Club, Toastmasters Club in Recife with Luis Eduardo. So it's great to have you here, Bill. I think it's the first time as I'm here for 1 year and a half now that we are here with us again. So thank you so much. I would like to thank our guests. And I don't know if you have time to introduce yourselves. I think we have 2 guests today. One of them, I can read her name because in Chinese, I think. You know, Aletheia, you would like to introduce yourself to our club? How you find us?
Actually, we have met in the last Toastmasters meeting. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Actually, we met in last time's Toastmasters meeting. My name is Tian Hui. I was brought in by Jonathan.
Oh, great.
And I was in the last time's meeting and I found it very interesting and very inspiring. And that's why, like, when Jonathan sent me the link of this time's video meeting, I directly jumped in. Unfortunately, I was only able to get in the last part of the impromptu speech, which was fantastic. I like it when we shared about our thoughts about how to getting over through together during this pandemic crisis. And personally, I'm studying the socioeconomic impacts of the pandemic on our life and the economy, etc. It's very interesting how people are getting together apart at home, but together online or in other virtual means to try to get through this. Thank you very much for having me in again. And I hope next time maybe I would jump in for an impromptu speech as well, because I'm also working on a group project at the same time. So at night, usually we don't stop working. Actually, that's one of the problems with working from home, because you kind of lose track of the work hours and you just extend your work hours forever into the late night. That's one of my problems. But I really love to see the happy faces of the participants and to feel the joy, the vibe within this group. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you. Please be welcome to join us anytime you want. I know that you live here in Brasília, so if you want to share your visit with us in the Portuguese meeting too, okay? You can be our guest, even though you maybe don't speak Portuguese, and be our guest anytime you want to be in our English meetings. So I'd like now to invite Aletheia to introduce herself. Please welcome her. How did you know about our club? How you come here today? You can unmute your phone in the bottom of your screen.
Oh, perfect. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Well, I'm Aletheia, and I have seen your something about Toastmaster in Instagram. I don't know who, but I think it's should be interesting to be part. And my English is awful yet, but I'm trying to improve it. And I'm studying sometimes. I have a teacher, and I really enjoyed to stay with you this night. And that's it. I'm quite shy today, and I promise next time to be more participated.
Okay, thank you, Aletheia. Thank you so much. Please be
Thank
welcome
you.
again to join us
Thank you.
anytime you want, in Portuguese and English.
Oh, yes.
Toastmasters is a place that we really welcome our friends and guests, because it's a place that we need to give our best. And it is the place that you can make mistakes. That's the place that you can do things that in the professional area you can't do sometimes. So here is the place that we're going to have feedback. You're going to learn with us and with the Toastmasters methodology of education. So I'd like now to invite everyone to open their cameras so we can have our print screen, our photo of the meeting. So Kim, Dennis, Ricardo, and Margarete, again, could you please just open your camera for a few seconds for us? And Jackson just shared the link for our webinar in the chat box. So anyone that wants to join and share with your friends, again, you can share this link. It's a free event. We do that to have our members in the club in Brasília involved more with professional skills, and now we can share that online. Okay, please be our guest this Saturday. So I think Kim is not there.
Yes.
I don't think so. So the idea here is to look into the camera, okay? Don't look at yourself in the monitor, because it's not going to look great. So just look to your web camera or iPhone or your smartphone camera, okay? So let us look there and smile. I'm going to take the print screen. One more time again. Hey! Okay, so thank you so much again to have you here. I hope you enjoy it as I did. It's always a challenge for me, and it's really great to see our club members evaluating in their speech. Thank you. See you again in a few days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Bill.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you very much, everyone.